Once upon a time, in a land far, far away. Nah, not like that. I'm only joking. But I am going to tell you a story. It's not your story. It's my story. A story like you've never seen before. But you want a proper story, huh? Then I must tell you something of my people and my land. Then you can see the story and know it. This land began in the beginning. Yulungur, that great water governor, he traveled here. Yulungur made all this land and he made this water and he made this swamp that stretches long and gives us life. I come from a water hole in this land Yulungur made. I was looking like a little fish in my water hole. Then my father come near my water hole. I asked him for my mother. I wanted to be born. My father pointed out one of his wives. That's your mother, he told me. I waited until the right time and I went just like that into her vagina. Then my father had a dream. That dream made him know she had a little one inside her. That little one was me. When I die, I will go back to my water hole. I'll be waiting there like a little fish, waiting to be born again. You didn't know all that, did you? Huh? But it's a true thing. It's always like that for my people. Now we have to find where the story is. This story I'm going to tell you. We have to go back long time. Back to the time of my ancestors. Shh. Listen now. I can hear them. They're coming. My ancestors. This wise-looking one is Minglulu. Then his younger brother Daindy, and then the other ones. Too many names to remember. That one is Jigger. Jigger talked too much, but maybe he heard something. The ancestors are making canoes for goose egg hunting. They cut the barks off the trees, and they talk about women like always. They make fun at Daindi. They know Daindi is liking the young wife of his brother Mingululu. This is first time Daindi hunt the magpie geese. There is many things Daindi never seen before. And there is much for him to learn on this hunting.
Yo, tim panjul kakal. Wabar nyanya. Wabar mage. Mari nyukung miyal. Manden mi. Nana. Benyakan.
Mingululu knows it's true about the wrong feeling of his young brother.
Chininyar bol kanak. Kamoy. Ngay luri. Nyara bongo ini.
The men will carry the barks to the swamp. Mingululu will tell Daindi that story to help him live the proper way. It is Mingululu's story for Daindi back then, and it is my story for you now. It is a good story, but you better listen, eh? Maybe you like Daindi. Maybe this story will help you live proper way. And here is that story. It is long, long time ago. Daindi is still a little fish in his waterhole. All the ancestors, that Mingululu, Jigger, and even the old sorcerer, all of them little fish in their waterholes. All their fathers and fathers before that, they still little fish in their waterholes, all over this land, waiting to be born. That's how long ago this time is that we are in now. The time that we see now is after the beginning. It is after the big flood came that covered the whole land. Look at that flood. You can nearly see it. We are so long ago now. It is after Yulungur, great water governor, named the trees and the birds and the plants and the people. It is after Yulungur gave the old ancestors big ceremony of the Jungwan, which give us the law we all learn. It is after the people learn to live to that law. After then, but a long, long time ago. And in that ancient time, there lived an ancient ancestor. This ancient ancestor was called Rijimiril. Rijimiril was a warrior, a proud one. He had wives and children just like we have now. And he followed the law, which is the same law as the law now. The stories of our people are very old. Sometimes they take long time to tell, days even. Mingululu is telling Daindi some of the story while they carry the bags. Proper trees for canoes grow far away from the swamp. The storytelling must stop for a while. There is more work to do before the men hunt the geese. They must put the barks in the water to soak. One bark already soaked is put on the fire to make it hot and soft. The story of Rijimiril can go on.
Dalam penatame ngaruk mel lorkon yo yoni jang.
The first wife Rijimiril had was called Panalunju. Panalunju was wise and she was important.
Anh mà con này mẹ nhóc con mà Wah, enggak mana? Mana balik?
The bark is almost ready. They must cool it down to make it easier to bend. Daindi learns by watching. That is the way we do it with our people. But we better keep this story going. Number 2 wife of Rijimiril was called Nawalingo. Nawalingo was a bit of a jealous one, but she had eyes that sometimes flew at other men.
Marian bangkai tembai nial web penyaman.
Nyar penakan. Mandanak.
Ah, that number 3 wife, she was a young one. She was called Munanjar. Munanjar was beautiful one. She was quiet as a sleeping baby. Rijimiril also had younger brother, just like Daindi was Mingululu's younger brother. Rijimiril's brother was called Yiralpril. Yiralpril had no wives yet, and none promised. he thought he should have one, and the wife he thought he should have was Munanjar. It was not right to him that his brother had 3 wives, but he himself had none.
Bulog nyo na jagol pa Eric, ka miyal manin mit penjerik ngalkam ja. Kanyon benjang ngalkam ngayel manin jagol pa.
Papa ngarja mel karman na kur kenen ni nyari.
Tiene ngibrarian ngar kuro gor kranya ging oral nenen ne.
The young man lived in Singleman's camp, away from the mine camp. They lived there to learn the law and man's ways. Yeralpril too lived in the Singleman's camp. Even though it was long walking to Regimental's camp, Yeralpril's eyes could already see that young Munanjar. His mind would wander off to be with her. Sometimes his legs would make his body follow. He thought about how to really see Munanjar. Maybe he would just walk into the camp and pretend another reason.
Mata bang.
But maybe Banalunju's eye would be too sharp. That day, near the camp, was haircut day. Yeralpril thought maybe he could see Munanjar from the distance. The one who said that joke is Birin, who lived in the same camp as Regimental. Birin had 2 wives and a belly big as a mountain. He was always eating too much, but his favorite thing of all was honey. He would search for it, beg for it, sometimes even steal it. Ah, yes. I nearly forgot that sorcerer. The sorcerer was old and very powerful. He had good magic and bad magic. He lived by himself to keep his magic secret. Now watch carefully, because on this day I'm talking about, something happened. There was a stranger. Maybe that stranger had a right to visit this land. Maybe he had a sacred waterhole there. I don't know anymore. The story is too old. But that stranger had not signaled that he was coming. He had the smell of someone very dangerous. kurko balang baningan, kurko mara balang gardong. Wah balang me jalan kurko gardong wah.
Lare. Belengar kerenye. Kurbo unung belengara.
The stranger spoke language Rigimiril could not understand very well.
Kira rune jiban. Ujil keban kurbulle. Wup to marge. Wup kup marge. Lalle rune jiban.
Mana? Peleng on manjen ko yung re. Molko. Chele laiken marge.
When they knew this stranger was part of magic, the bones of the man were shaking. They did not trust this stranger with the covered prick. He was not carrying anything to trade. Now you can see the canoes are nearly done. Only one bark is left to do. Now Dainty can learn what happened with his ancestors. Some of the ancients wanted to kill this stranger, but Rigimiril didn't want to start a war. The stranger was given food to show respect. Soon he would be gone, but the bad feeling about him stayed behind. Far away, the sorcerer was listening in his mind. He heard the man talking about that stranger. The sorcerer came through the bush to the man. He made him listen to him. He warned him about the magic. It's not wise to leave shit just lying there. A sorcerer can do things with it. When the branches rub in the wind, it makes a source rod.
Chile palma. Puyo puyo nak. Laren mit.
Junggoy mabacan makunin.
Mal makon musim ko yana kamban. Yana kamusim ko krema. Yana kabala kamban.
Lumol cuman gal.
Bujur win bencil mul sih.
Mereka orang bola pelangnya. Nanti lagi nya.
Chino le ne. Win yu le jam ko bala Jepang le pemban.
Wah.
Yo, mal golf me. Mal makaya kanya por marwar gole. Garbala jeban.
Ada bicara macam jam aku berinya.
Anjir tiada jeban.
Kalau kita bicara macam ni.
Yo.
Chino le je. Mariol je ngono le jaman me. Yol je.
Then the sorcerer got himself ready. He looked all around the camp. He looked everywhere for any magic that stranger left behind. After a long time, he was finished.
No, may macam gor belaco, arpam gor belaco, arpam garai, laco, garai arpam.
The men are happy to go in the swamp. It's hard for Daindi. It's his first time to pull the canoe. Listen to the men honking like geese. Daindi, scared of crocodiles. At first, nothing bad happened to Rijimiril and his people after the stranger left. Life for the ancient ancestors passed as it always did, as it had since the beginning. Rijimiril's wives behaved like wives always do.
Tualio ko di kajama. No. Kano ini to kajama malabalanya. Margana mere. Ya kara ke jalti balanya umala. Magale marga matinya mero taro. Yo. Na mer na tuai.
Biren behaved like himself.
Lagi orang bayi, kalau punya orang ni kiriman. Cara agar kial ini, orang cara orang orang.
Bawa dek kacu ko dong kan abang kacu kan ngora jal kacu.
Boleh jenak. Cara orang bakal kau. Oh, pulang itu nanya cara orang marke, orang bakal kau marka.
Mulai na pernah ngoda jotan. Mun gurni merti dai di terna konditung na merti jatur kacu.
Ayah ada adik kelep, lah kaya mai kaya wan.
Rijimiril went hunting.
Kaya apa tu?
Nah, kurdo mawanden. Yun to na mga kawangan ngetam.
And the women went to get food, chattering like magpie geese. The single men suddenly went bush. They seen Biren coming.
Koi, boleh jalan kaki, jangan berjam aja.
Ini melkale.
Boleh berlagi yang paling yang kreme.
Ayo.
Oh, jangan berjalan, jangan berjam aja.
Rijimiril's wives were still behaving like wives always do. Nawalingo went with her friends to be away from Banalinjo. And Biren was making spearheads, singing a happy honey song. Gulpilil is trying to be tricky.
Có là suốt là mình lại cả mặt cái cày của anh hay là cái nó mặt tiền
Oh, bukan juga. Kau ada berapa berkap kan jumpa? Dia begini pajaknya. Iya bre. Dah lagi nggak berkap kan dalam. Nih gol tuh.
Jangan ke.
Ya, ayo nggak ada nyampe di berkap kan macam.
With all his family behaving like they always do, now we know why Rijimiril went hunting. But that Rijimiril was still a hard worker for his 3 wives. He was always trying to be fair and nice to all of them.
Mai punya gua polisi dengan. Ada punya barang gila.
Even sometimes to the younger one. Can you hear all them gumang that magbag is? The men have poled long way into the swamp. Soon they will go on way to hunt geese and collect the eggs. Daindy will go with Mingululu to learn the swamp and hear more story. And this story is now growing like a young tree that is flowering for the first time. Back in that long ago time, maybe someone done the wrong thing. Or maybe the spirits were angry for no reason. But in a way it was, the lives of the ancients were about to change. That second wife of Rijimiril, she just disappeared, like she flew away with the keys. The men sat down to talk about what maybe happened to her.
Marajan Jamen. Cek kalur pulai Marajan Gurman.
Barbarnya dalamnya.
Ngarking gino nunjurum me. Ang kami galalop me ni. Ang kami gune kai me. Kai pining bi me. Ngayon jaman me. Jangan kurman aja. Jangan kurman. Mari jangan kurman.
Nakang golke lem gorpana ngayel buriin rejemeril kong miyal nawalengo gorien mari jolal wanjien ka jenma banyane banalunjo monanjar belak ngerele.
Time passed. Life without Nawalingo became normal, even to Rijimiril. But then everything changed again, and our uncle came to visit.
Bokol pane ngari argo pen, kandar mur ngari jorgo me, wan gorang ngar bacan, beja ngar bome, kar nyame ma, nalengo kan ma, ka uno ko ngolon bor, yor nyalo ka belak, yor nge uno ko me yen, nalengo kar nyame bay anar goaw, kar randrane, pan bam.
Rijimiril was right. Nawalingo was with that stranger. The uncle's eyes had seen it themselves. The men decided to get Nawalingo back.
Tinjung ke tirang gam erpane.
Mari warne, kemkar makan
Mangara kan makan apa?
Jadi jarang mari wo, pernah janjian bercerita kan? Iya.
Tinjal balam makan.
Janjian balan makan benar nih. Mereka ngalim janjian bercerita kan? Yorong berapa mal?
So the ancients made everything ready to send out a war party. Everybody was ready for war. The men talked about the planning.
Jalan gue lemar gamban.
Waba. Dale vale.
Bet ni aja nama yo, belum kau jaban. Kita pala kali ini. Orang yang lebih berapa nak kalau? Kama kare mang dalu kabri ni pinin ya. Almi kele mana nak meyal lemuru galan mak. Baru mandi lembaga. Kalau ana jana jaka ngane. Nyone.
Nyamanya mana wer mial jaral pelnya.
Padat mare kuluk madarak meyal yurta. Tujuan kak.
Neno.
Perkan madarak nana meyal ganyan manyar para bagaimana air mage meyal kuer gini mare wo jamemak kamu nunggu jamemak iral pare meyal kuer anke
Perkara makan email.
Pinjir ya mau dibun cuma ngai ngau mau dibun tahu dah lalu kibin nak kan
I have to tell you something more about my people. If a man gets killed or dies, then his younger brother looks after dead man's wives. They become wives of his younger brother. That's why Yiralpril could not go. Only the young boys was left in single man's camp. Yiralpril's mind began to wander. Pretty soon, his body followed. He was thinking, with all the men gone, maybe he could come closer to Munanjar. But he didn't reckon with Panalunja.
Kacuan den. Nadali kana bale marcie. Ngoni mial kur mala dangang baru mala. Wanden.
Daindi thinks about Yiralpril and Munanjar. Their destinies were like butterflies in the air. They could go here, they could go there. Even the soft wind could change their direction forever. The men must sleep on the swamp while they're hunting. It's too far to go back all the time. But normal camp is not possible. There's too many crocodiles and not enough dry land. The men must be cooking and eating and sleeping in the trees, on platforms they're building. Up there in the branches, they will be safe. Daindi will soon find out what happened to War Party. Everyone came back safe. Not one angry spear was thrown.
Korba kunda binyangan kawrinya binyanyere. Mol korba grale jamur jene.
Iya.
Kau nomor nyone. Amban mel korkol benin yangane. Ya mbula pelong nge ngono wale nye.
Yo.
Wele ngono pala jamin mil knale ngonye. Kam kampul nye kapura jir kremban. Kaban metin yange. Ibarangay mga chay tambak ni, panganoy. Alar. Pero kung balibi mo. Kalibi mo. Ibarang beri mo nung kawan awam. Anak kali nabi ka. Kume bene awam.
Nyalo mial kragorman. Nangaling ukan. Yen wilian ma. Ngarukun mial. Kragorman nyalo yul ngoy.
There was nothing Rigimuril could do. No one believed him anymore. He became quiet and angry and sad. He was possessed by a bad spirit, like his proper soul been taken away from him. The trouble Rigimuril had was only just beginning. The bad spirit that lived in his head escaped. That bad spirit made biggest trouble of all.
Orang ini jenis macam ni lah, jangan berpari je kayu cul je, jangan berpari je ini boleh. Pernah jalan yang kaicin me?
Wer. Kau cakap mereka nak pergi.
Boleh ni berpari berbalas ni je, jangan raya le.
Pulpal yang ngapan curian. Pulpal jarak man.
Hai. Jom berjalan mana? Jom berjalan. Jom ni alun ni orang pakai phone le. Oi! Ada! Orang kau yang ni ada. Kapal belum ni cari. Jalan kerja. Apa aja kan? Kayaknya kan kamu. Tahu palingan mana kamu?
Angker mana? Jergung aja ya, mil temar ke?
Ay, mama, ya. Ni, kamu. Kere?
Yo.
Di mana? Orang berkir mana? Orang bercara. Oh, ngarek. Oh. Jangan bang aja, kabar jangan ngarek. Jangan bang aja.
Bayangap.
Mana Nabi ke? Tolong kita bawa jaman me.
Karena kamu pay Nabi ka?
Jalan kejaban.
Awak kuan.
Mar bernyan mana kenya korban le.
Hai? Ilo kuret kan? Kalau kau kerja le. Ibu berkarbar kan?
Nyanjele.
Kuda ngarwalkan.
Mak. Mana yang berat jadi jalan kejaban.
Lar, kung gabri kuk ngal ke. Kung gabri ngal ke, kapal ngari. Akama.
Cara orang orang.
Lar.
Mal korinya. Per.
Lar, ngayon ngarain.
Jangan jangan deh.
Kaya ki.
Arwin jangan deh.
Lar.
Per.
Jangan nyoy bocor nyar penelaman guru menanjar ke Gerald friend.
Daindi is impatient to hear what will happen to the young ones. But the story is growing into a large tree now, with branches everywhere. All the parts of the story have to be told for proper understanding. Mingulu keeps going on the same branch. Those two ancestors, Rijimiril and Birin, done the wrong thing when they tried to hide the body. They didn't hide that body well enough.
Kini hame. Nyona rawo ngombe. Ye. Kini nyongo pibijara. Nyona jir chama yeme. Nyona rawo ngombe.
Kajian Jerman kudu jawab mak. Dero kanane. Janmel karan. Wah. Kan nyalok kini. Lir palma.
Champion jere.
Yo champion jen. Nyalok kini lir palma. Pangar armar giang ano. Ah. Ya kata kung jen na Jalo kung berin kung lir pal. Ka ngaruan armar gor. Ain boltien. Kuringin uri palma. Kuringin argopal kanya kaitan dengan gopal. Gujara.
Nyona rabo mo ngombe. Rawang ngai. Nyona rabo me. Woi, rawang ngai. Kaya kaya me. Ai. Mona rabo me. Mona rabo me.
At first, that stranger didn't believe Rijimiril. But Rijimiril would not change his words. The only thing to do was follow the law.
Makara saban lemir pa ya.
Tira kang Yo. Nyana bo me.
Rijimiril could not refuse Makarata
Mengare.
payback ceremony,
Makarata.
where the stranger and his men could throw spears at him until he got hit.
Yo. Tingom gorbe. Nyangon
As the two groups worked out the Makarata, Rijimiril knew he was in a danger he couldn't get away from. Night is coming to the three platforms. The men sit near their little fires. The smoke helps to keep the mosquitoes away. They talk about the hunting. There's lots of kumang eggs this year. The telling of the destiny of Rijimiril must wait until night becomes empty of black. Now it is morning. The men go out to do more hunting of kumang and their eggs. Mingululu wants to know if Daindi has learned anything yet. Daindi say only thing he learned is Mingululu take long time to tell the story. Mingululu answers, a good story must have proper telling. Back then, all that time ago, it was also a time of goose egg gathering. Payback, Makarata, was to be this time, far across the other side of the swamp. Rijimiril was heavy in his heart. This time, Yiralpril could go to lend his spirit to his older brother. Birin could not go. He was too fat to cross the swamp in a canoe.
Nah, koko. Ia berikan polisnya. Lagi ni nyong, lagi ngerangnya. Raja kerban. Berkabap.
It was a bad time. As the men went out to cross the swamp, they were thinking of what Ridgemiril had to face. Maybe that strangest mob could throw the spears good and straight. Then Ridgemiril would have a spear right through him pretty soon. But that was a law. Ridgemiril knew that law. He knew it was the way of his people. He knew the people needed the law, so they could stay living right way with the right land. And he knew he'd broken the law.
Di mana?
Without the Makarata, there would be a bad war between the two tribes. There was no turning back.
Serius Kal.
Yang mau? Saya balik mak. Liyor kar, mak. Wah.
Yan jang.
Karet nirim kurpanak.
Mingululu tells Taindi that Ridgemiril needed Makarata partner, someone who would face the spears with him. The other tribe was satisfied whichever one got speared. It was dangerous thing to be Makarata partner. He could get speared instead of Ridgemiril. Gulpilil knew it and waited his time.
Ridgemiril kanyal kamak. Makarata.
Kino ngaro na kamak. Kino
Kamak kamak.
Baru bukan jenar.
Kamari jene kamungon jenan.
Ini pukul kol nge.
Mok. Ngarar kamak.
Boleh kan nge?
Mari jen mereka. Jangan kau malah kakalo.
Mundur yang umrek nge.
Gulpilil argued with the men. If he couldn't have any wives, or he couldn't have Munanjar, he might as well be spared or dead. Finally, Ridgemiril agreed. The goose egg hunters come together to eat. Daindi is proud of his hunting. Mingululu will go on with the story when they are eating. We can't wait that long because it was time for Makarata spears to start flying. Ridgemiril and Gulpilil danced like ghosts between the spears. They danced so hard they were nearly invisible. The spears seemed to be passing right through them. The warriors from the other tribe threw their spears until their arms were getting tired. That's how hard those two brothers were dancing. But Rijimiril was not a ghost. His legs were human, and one spear too many came flying. The goose egg hunting is nearly over for now, but there is still some of the story left for me to tell you. That one spear too many had hit Rijimiril right in his guts. He was injured all right, but not so bad that he should die. The other tribe, they were satisfied. The law had been followed. Justice had been done.
Arnyongora yulraname. Tina bachi gertada yamban.
Rijimiril still believed it was the stranger who took Nawalingo. It made him too proud to let the men carry him back. He wanted to show the stranger and his own men he was strong and angry. But he was not strong enough to pole all the way across the swamp. And the blood that was leaving his body made him too weak to walk by himself. Banalunju knew the leaves to use to make the wound better. She knew what to get to make her husband stronger. The men are near the end of the journey. Dayandi is now interested in all the story. He waits to hear what happened to Rijimiril. Rijimiril did not get stronger. In his weakness, he called out to Nawalingo to bring him water. But Nawalingo didn't come. A bad spirit took over Rijimiril's body. He did not have the strength to fight it off. That stranger's tribe might have used some sorcery. Maybe on the spear there was some sorcery. Or maybe on Rijimiril himself. And there is only one way to fight sorcery.
Baik, boleh ban. Siap keluar bapule.
Boleh jumpa celana lebih like malara.
The sorcerer could do no more. He was overcome by great sadness. And the people know. See, they know. They come out of the bush from everywhere. They come for Richie Material. And see how Richie Material makes one very big effort. Maybe his last effort. Slowly he gets up. And look at him get up while he's still got the strength. Slowly he walks to the middle of the space in the camp. And there, near the fires, so that everyone can see, Richie Material begins to dance his own death dance. Soon the clapsticks will join in, and the didgeridoo, and then singing. Hear the clapsticks start. And now is the didgeridoo. As Richie Material dances his own death dance. He is becoming weaker. But see how he keeps dancing until all his strength will be gone. Now he's getting tired. Now his strength is finished, and he lies down on the ground. Now the warriors finish the death dance for Richie Material. Richie Material is waiting for them to start singing again. He wants them to sing his death song for him, so that all his fathers will know that he's dying and come to him. starting to sing. You think he might be dead, but he's only waiting for his singing. See? See him move his hand like his brown Pathan tatum? See his foot move? That's to show he is listening. That is going to die and is telling his people. Now he is lying there. His heart is still beating, but he's already dead. Look, look, our grandfather gone into his heart to help get his soul out of there. Even his heart is still now. But he wants them to keep singing a bit longer to help him find his ancestors. Then they must prepare him for his journey. They are painting the design of his waterhole on him. That means his spirit can find its way back to its waterhole. It will wait there to be born again. Now they are chasing his soul away, because sometimes it doesn't want to leave. And there it goes on its journey.
Mình này jangan mah, najap melane.
Badak. Wer ni dia punya jangon.
Daindi is learning one important thing for his life. He's learning to be patient. But you're impatient to see the rest of the story, huh? I know that. So I'll tell you what happened. Rijimirul's soul was just gone to his waterhole.
Ngayon, yaral pa rin naman guru.
Ayo. Ginongo borene golke monyan nagorpan kabolo jinin uranane
Wala kami na ikawang prandan.
plak plak plak.
It was not the stranger who took Nalingo, and she did not run away. It was that Cross River mob took her. They traded her to a desert tribe far away. She escaped from them and took nearly a season to walk all the way back. And now her husband was dead. The men had to show they were warriors. They made a lot of noise about going to war against Cross River mob. But inside their heads, it was not like that. They were happy when Biren come to talk to them.
Kere palam ko bije. Manam ga yor palam mar ben me. Regimental kain. Kajele palam ko bije.
There were days and months of ceremony of the dead. All the proper things were done. At last, the spirit of the dead man was proper back where his belonging was. The men are getting close to home. Daindi knows the story is nearly at its end. Some of the men go back to their own tribe. Maybe they meet again next ceremony. Or maybe next season of goose egg gathering. Finally, Gulpilil could be with Munanjar.
Penna para, mel kana para nyame.
Marchena pala. Ngajak pian nila tawo
Ay.
rale. Ya kan ngajak pian nila
Ako na ko ang kanmiya.
Mara dong dong ulo na wala kang miyak marche. Ya ka. Punyal ka na kawangan na. Punyal yung tukan din.
Oh, ano yung naging ginawa eh?
Punyal ka na.
Yan din naging ginawa. Yan be. Vamos
And finally, Daindi had the end of the story. It was not what he expected. and they all lived happily ever after. No, I don't know what happened after that. Maybe that Dainty found a wife. Maybe he didn't. It was like that for my people. But now you've seen my story. It's a good story. Not like your story, but a good story all the same.